Tantra Illuminated with Dr. Christopher Wallace is a journey through the depths of the human experience, as viewed through the lens of the tradition called non-dual Shaiva Tantra. This multi-format podcast delves into the fascinating world of classical Tantra and its intersections with philosophy, neuroscience, psychology, human development, and the broader world of spirituality. This episode is a meditation, and this time I'm sharing with you a practice from classical Tantric yoga, by which I mean a practice that flourished in the earliest phases of the Tantric tradition over 1,000 years ago. This practice is called Bhūta-shuddhi, which means the purification or recalibration of the 5 basic elemental energies in the body. And this practice was, at one time, ubiquitous throughout the world of Tantric yoga, and survived all the way down to the present day as well, though not commonly known. In this practice, you will hear the bīja mantras for the 5 great elemental energies according to the Tantric tradition, and these are different from the bīja mantras commonly given in the mainstream tradition, that is Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, and Hum. So those can be considered the exoteric or public bīja mantras for the 5 elements, and here you will encounter the esoteric or tantric bīja mantras for the 5 elements. This practice must be done with full focus in a place and at a time where you will be wholly undisturbed and undistracted. Enjoy the powerful effects of the recalibration of the 5 elemental energies. Get settled in a comfortable yogic posture, sitting up straight, but not stiff. And take a few deep breaths. Now we will be diving into the practice known as Bhūta-shuddhi, found in nearly all of the Tantric scriptures, including this one. Breathing deep and feeling grounded in the body, the sit bones sinking down towards the earth. Imagine the lower body is becoming heavy. Everything from the waist down is becoming heavier, almost as if it's made of wet clay. And the lower body is merging with the earth element. The earth element is stable, steady, dense, full of inertia. It's grounding, and it's powerful. In Tantric yoga, the color of the earth element is golden yellow. Now imagine or feel golden yellow light pervading your feet, your legs, your buttocks, this whole region of the body is filled with golden yellow light. It doesn't matter if you think that you can't visualize. Just feel as if the lower body is filled with golden yellow light. And this light merges with the earth below you, so you're deeply connected to the earth. Now, focus your attention on the pelvic bowl. This is the domain of the water element. Its qualities are liquidity, flow, and solvency. Imagine the silvery light of the water element pervading the pelvic bowl. From the pelvic floor all the way up to just below the navel. If you like, you can imagine a silvery bowl of water coterminous with your pelvic bowl. There can even be a flower on either side at the point of the iliac crests, which is the uppermost part of the hip bones. And this water is the purest water imaginable. Next, focus on the region of the torso, from the level of the navel up to the pit of the throat. This is the domain of fire. The fire element is the power of combustion, digestion, and transformation. Its color is red. You can imagine this region from the level of the navel to the pit of the throat, filled with red light. Or, optionally, you can form that red light into the shape of a pyramid of fire. A pyramid is the traditional geometric shape associated with fire element. If you do that, the base of the pyramid is at the level of the navel, and the point of the pyramid is just behind the pit of the throat, and its center is your heart, the base of your heart. And it slowly rotates. or you can simply imagine red light pervading this area. The domain of the wind element is above that, extending from the pit of the throat to the third eye, the point between the eyebrows. The wind element is associated with mobility and inspiration, as well as, of course, the breath. Its traditional color is greenish gray. You can imagine greenish gray incense smoke curling beautifully within you in this region. Or optionally, you can imagine a six-pointed star, traditionally associated with the wind element, with its lower point at the pit of the throat and its upper point at the third eye. With 6 small spheres at each vertex of the 2 intersecting triangles, and greenish-gray incense smoke curling through those spheres. Or make it simpler. The important thing is that you're installing and focusing on the wind element in this region. From the third eye upward is the domain of space, boundless space, openness, spaciousness, vacuity, limitlessness. Now that you have been introduced to the Panchamahabhutas, the 5 great elements, we will practice with them in such a way as to empower and recalibrate the elements so they operate in harmony with each other. Everything in the physical world can be understood as a combination of these 5 essential energies. Bring your attention back down to the legs and the golden yellow light of earth element, pervading the legs and feet and buttocks. Now we purify and recalibrate the elements by allowing each to absorb upward into the next most subtle element. So when you hear the mantra for earth element, imagine that golden yellow light, that principle of earth, dissolving upward into the water element. And if it makes intuitive sense to you, your legs themselves can dissolve as well. Now focusing on water in the pelvic bowl, the silvery light of the water element. And now the water element will dissolve upward into fire. It will be evaporated, as it were. When you hear the mantra of the water element, let it dissolve upward into fire. Now focusing on the fire element in the torso. Fire will dissolve upward into wind. Imagine this happening when you hear the mantra of the fire element. Now the wind element will dissolve upward into space. Imagine it doing so when you hear the wind element. Now there's only boundless, empty space. Now, space itself will dissolve upward into pure essence. The incomprehensible source of all. Even though it is unimaginable, we imagine it as a dark blue orb against an even darker blue background. Limitless, yet unlocalizable, sublime and still. The heart of the goddess. So when you hear the mantra of space, space itself dissolves into ultimate source. Now, the infinite source births the field of space, births the space within which all phenomena will appear. Let the field of space arise down to the third eye when you hear the bīja mantra of space. Space element births wind from the third eye down to the pit of the throat. Wind element births fire from the pit of the throat down to the navel. Fire element births water down to the pelvic floor. Water element births earth from the pelvic floor down. now in perfect balance. Purified, recalibrated, in harmonious relationship with each other. If you can, feel all 5 at once. The gradations of space down to earth. Finally, finish the practice by invoking the best of each element. For example, may I be spacious. May I be inspired. May I digest my emotions and experiences and realize their energetic potential. May I experience flow. And may I be steady and grounded. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Remember, you can always find out more about the tradition of non-dual Shaiva Tantra at tantrailluminated.org, where, if you wish, you can become a subscriber to our online learning portal, and you'll receive access to a vast number of recordings, including a comprehensive curriculum in Tantric philosophy, Tantric yoga, guided meditation, and much, much more. Music for the podcast composed and recorded by Ann Leader. Find her at annleader.com. Podcast produced by Grazia Tribulato. New episodes drop every week, and may all beings benefit.